Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm trying on the newly released Tom Ford quad. It's number 01 Lumiere Diva, which really means winter light. Now also there were two highlighters with this. There was the rose one and the gold one. I didn't pick up any of those, just the quad. I've taken photos of this in natural light, but I haven't tried it yet and I haven't swatched it, but I have a feeling that I am going to really love it. It looks like a beautiful neutral color story. Now last year Tom Ford also released, it was a very popular quad, it was the Metal Lust. I have that, and that wasn't released in New Zealand, but the reason that I've got it is because my very good friend Liz from Chicago Law Luxury Makeup, who lives in the US, she purchased that for me. I paid her back and then she sent it to me. That is a beautiful quad. So I've got that and I will swatch that today as well. So I have done all my skincare for the morning, but I haven't put on any primer yet. And I'm going to be using a Tom Ford foundation, so I'll use the Tom Ford primer. This is the Traceless Soft Matte one. This is the second bottle of this one that I purchased. I think it is a really good primer. So I have a couple of Tom Ford foundations. The one that I'm going to use today is the shade in Illuminate. That is very beautiful, that foundation. It is more on the pricey side, but I think it gives a really gorgeous finish, and it has more of a medium finish, and I tend to put that one on using a beauty blender, although I use it with a brush as well, but I just tend to use that one more with a beauty blender. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm just going to let this sit for a minute or two and then put on the foundation. I do love the packaging of this Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation. It is really beautiful. Now with my oily skin, this is a foundation that I can wear all year round. It looks beautiful in the cooler months as well as the warmer months. With my oily skin, it just works really well. So I'm just going to dot some on, and I think today, I'll probably do that off camera, but I think today I'll be using a Tom Ford concealer as well. But everything that I'm putting on my face will be listed and linked below. So if I don't show something on camera and you want to know what I've put on my face, you can just have a look in the description box. So just with a dampened beauty blender, just blend this foundation out. It is gorgeous. And I have a lot of foundations because of my YouTube channel, but if I just had, say, just a few, maybe about half a dozen that I had to choose from, this would definitely be in there. It is a gorgeous foundation. So eyebrows are done. I've also put on some eyeshadow primer and the concealer under my eyes as well. Now before I powder my face and under my eyes, I'm going to put on the bronzer. And the one that I'm going to use today is the Chanel one, the one that came out in the travel size. This is the Le Beige's Healthy Glow Bronzer. I got all three shades. The one I'm going to use today, I sort of want to go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use the one in medium bronze, and I'm going to put this on using my beauty blender as well. Just turn it to the other side and just pop a little bit on. I really like the formula of these bronzers because they are different to the bigger bronzers before, but I really like the formula. I think this blends really beautifully. Now with this type of cream bronzer, I either use a beauty blender or, and I talk about it quite a bit, I use the Sonia G, that new brush of hers, the sheer buffer. That's really beautiful. So I'll use this as well just to show you, and I'll use it on the other side. But it does a really beautiful job at just blending out cream products. It is a beautiful, beautiful brush, and I'm not sure whether it's in stock at Beautylish. I think I have it listed below. I'm not sure. I'll double check on that. I imagine this will be a brush that goes in and out of stock. So if you ever see it and you haven't tried it, I highly recommend that you pick it up, especially if you use a lot of cream products. I get a lot of use out of this. So I've powdered under my eyes, and for the rest of my face, I'm going to use, it's the rephr Skin Caviar, the loose powder. This is really beautiful. The La Prairie is definitely more on the pricey side, but I do think it is a beautiful, beautiful powder, and you do get a lot of product. So if you ever look at this and think that's just insane for a loose powder, remember how much product you get in this. And not only do you get this, you also get another travel size loose powder, and the travel size really is almost the same size as like another loose powder in their normal size. So you do get a lot of product. This is also fragranced as well. I happen to love the fragrance, but just so that you know, this powder is fragranced. And just before I put on the eyeshadows, I am going to be putting on a lipstick in the final step, but not with this collection, but with the other Tom Ford collection that came out. This was the Private Rose collection. One of the things was, I had a video on it, there was the Rose Tease Quad, which is beautiful. It's an all matte palette. But also with the collection was this, and this is the lip oil. This is the best lip oil that I've ever tried. It's quite lightweight. It has a very, very slight pink tint, and it also has a very light fragrance of roses. But it keeps your lips moisturized for a long, long time. So I'm just going to pop some on now, and then I'll be popping the lipstick that I'm going to choose when I've finished all my other makeup, and I'll pop that on last. But I'm just going to use this just initially because it just feels so beautiful on. Just feels so beautiful, and the scent is really lovely, and the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. And also the doe foot on this, it's quite a big doe foot as well, but it does feel really beautiful. So now let's take a look at this quad. This is made in Italy, and it has a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening, and it comes like all the other Tom Ford quads do, although it does change color depending on what you're buying. But it does come with the velvet pouch. I tend to throw them away after a while, but I do think it is a really lovely touch. And here is the outside packaging. Now the Rose Tease was more of a matte finish, and that had the white and then with the black for the Tom Ford there and black here, whereas this has the silver. The Tom Ford packaging, I think, is beautiful. And this one here was the Metal Lust one from last year. Again, had sort of a ombre effect. Really gorgeous packaging. So let's take a look inside. It does come with 2 applicators, and I do use the Tom Ford applicators from time to time. Has the usual generous size mirror inside, and here is the color story. This is gorgeous. So you've got a cream, almost like a browny, bronzy shade. You've got a platinum, and then you've got a deep brown, looks like a matte shade. So as I was saying at the beginning of this video, I did take a photo of this in natural light, and I posted it on Instagram. I either posted the picture or I did like a short reel, but I'm sure I took a still shot of this as well. And if I did, I'll pop it up here to my left. So I'm going to swatch this on my hand, and then I'll also swatch the Metal Lust as well. And just before I show you the swatches, I'll just hold up the quads side by side and turn down the lights a little bit. So this one here is the new one, Lumiere Diva, and this one here is Metal Lust. And these are swatched from left to right and top to bottom in the quad. So up the top is the new quad, and down the bottom, this one is Metal Lust. So I'm going to take a BK Beauty brush, and I'm going to start off with this shade here. And this is the very light shade. It's just a cream. So I'll just tap that on and blend it out. And the shade is a matte. And when I swatched it, it felt very smooth. There is quite a bit of kick up because it is so soft. It goes on really beautifully. But you just need to, if you pick up too much or you go in a bit hard with the brush, you just need to either just tap the brush on the palette itself if you want to, or just on the cloth in front of you. And then next I'm going to go into the shade here. I've got the rephr 14. This is a shimmer shade. And you can either just pat this on. I'll see how it goes, what it's like with this brush, and I'll let you know if there's any fallout. Really what I want to do is take this through the crease and slightly above it as well. It is a beautiful, beautiful shade. And I'm not sure whether that was from the cream eyeshadow to begin with, because I did pick up a bit too much on that brush. So I think that was from the cream eyeshadow initially, but this one is actually going on really well, just using this rephr brush. It's blending out, just blending out beautifully, and it is a gorgeous shade. I can tell, and I knew just from looking at the quad anyway, but I can tell now I've started putting this on, I think this is going to look really pretty. So just the same on the other eye, just through the crease. And I'm just picking up a small amount each time because I don't want there to be fallout, and there wasn't any that time I did it. So I think what was on there was from that cream shade initially. So with this shimmer, there doesn't seem to be any fallout. And that is really pretty. I think that is gorgeous. So next I'm going to go into this deep brown. I think this is a gorgeous shade. It's a really deep cocoa, and I think that's going to look gorgeous. So like I normally do with my eye looks, I am going to put this on the outer corner. So I'm just going to take a Sonia G brush, go into there. Just be careful with it. Just don't want there to be any fallout since there was. Okay, so that is, it's pretty pigmented. So I'm just going to put the rest on the other. See, I just dipped it in lightly a couple of times. I'm actually going to wipe off the excess on the cloth in front of me, because I think this is definitely going to be enough, and I'm just going to blend it out. I can always go back and add a little bit more if I want to, but at this stage I think that is deep enough. It's really lovely, and it is blending out beautifully as well. And I don't know whether I'll actually need to add any more. I'm going to use the shade on my lower lash line as well. So I'm going to take the rephr 3, stay with this dark shade, and just put some of that on my lower lash line. Now, I did have some fallout from this darker shade just down here, and I'll just wipe that away later, because these are very soft. They blend out beautifully, but because they're so soft, that's why you get that fallout. And then I've just picked up the Sonia G, the soft definer, and I'm just going over that just to blend it out a little bit. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the builder, and go into the lighter shade. Just going to press my brush in there and just slowly just tap this on. Now I've just grabbed the rephr 13, and I want to go back into this shade here, and I just want to put a little bit more of that just through here, and same on the other side as well. Really, this is really beautiful. And I think just through here I'm going to put this shade on there as well. So I'm just going to take, I'll grab that rephr 13 again. I'm just giving it a good wipe down because I had the darker shade on there. So I've given that a good wipe down. Go back into the shade, just press it in there, and I'm just going to pop some through here. Then I've got the Sonia G, this is the pencil one, going back into this darker shade, and I am going to deepen up the outer corner here just a bit. I'm just packing that shade in just in the very outer corner, just to give a little bit more depth. And then go back to the soft definer and blend it out, but just keeping to that area. And I don't really want to lose any of that depth that I got from putting that little bit more on. And I just think this is absolutely beautiful, gorgeous colour story. And I'm also going to use the deeper shade for eyeliner on my upper lash line, and I'm going to use the Tom Ford applicator to do this. They have an end that is the sponge and it's more pointed, and this is really good for usually for putting on eyeliner, so that's what I'm going to use. So I've now popped on some mascara, and this is the finished eye look. And it is gorgeous, and this is coming with me when I go overseas. It's less than 2 weeks away. It's about a week and a half away, and I'm taking this with me. I think it is beautiful. I think it goes on beautifully. There was a little bit of fallout, especially with more the matte shades. You just got to go in fairly easy with the brush. Don't go too hard and you should be fine. And also with the shimmer, if you haven't got a densely, you don't have a big brush collection and you haven't got a densely packed brush or one you think is suitable, use the applicators that come with this. So on the other side, each applicator has it. They have this rounded sponge on each side. This was the one I used to line my eyes with a darker shade. And then with this end, just pop that into the shimmer shade and then just slowly pack it onto your lid. And that gives a really beautiful finish as well. But I think this is a gorgeous colour story. So for blush today, I'm going to use a Chanel one. It's one of the Le Beiges. It's the Water Fresh blush. And this is the one in warm pink. Now, I don't want a lot of blush on, so the pump sometimes can be a little bit hard to control on those ones, but I've managed to get out about a quarter to half a pump, and I've broken down the pigments. And now I'm just going to just pop this on. I really just want just a hint of colour on the cheeks. And I'm also going to put on a little bit of highlighter today. So I'm going to use the new Chanel Sublimage. This is limited edition, the Lumiere. I did a dedicated video on this. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the cheekbones and possibly down the bridge of the nose as well. Now, I don't often do that with highlighters, but because this one is so subtle, it's so beautiful, it has these gorgeous just little twinkles in it that I can put it down this area. It doesn't emphasize texture. It sits well on the skin, and once it sets down, it doesn't feel tacky in any way. It is such a beautiful highlighter.
E tudo vai ficar bem.
And although the lip gloss doesn't look as glossy as it initially did, it still feels so beautiful on. You can still feel this very fine slip, and it isn't thick in any way. It is such a gorgeous formula. But I am going to just pop some lipstick over the top, and this is a Chanel one. And here is the finished look, and you would have known throughout the video that I think that this eyeshadow quad by Tom Ford is gorgeous. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and I love it just as much. Even though it's a different formula to the Metal Lust, I still think it looks beautiful on the eyes. And of course, this is definitely my type of colors. It's a everyday makeup quad. It's got that shimmer, so you've got that little bit of glam, not garish in any way, just soft and absolutely beautiful. I love that deeper shade in there. I think it's gorgeous, and it's great when you've got a deep shade like that, so you can line your eyes and you don't have to use an eyeliner. I mean, you can use an eyeliner if you want to, but just for that soft line, that deep shade is definitely enough. It is really gorgeous. So have you got this colour story in your collection? You've probably got something fairly close. And do you need this quad? Well, I can't answer that for you. I am thrilled that I picked it up. I think it is very beautiful. If you love this type of colour story, then you are not going to be disappointed. I am so glad that I was able to get this, and like I said, this is definitely coming with me when I go overseas next weekend. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the Tom Ford foundation is beautiful. I've had this for quite a while now. It always looks, it's just, I was going to say flawless, but that's not true. No skin looks flawless, and you don't really want it to either. But it definitely smooths everything out, blurs to some degree, and it is really flattering on mature skin. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.